I think, Madam Speaker, I just needed to raise a matter on how business is being run this morning in this House. Madam Speaker, first, I just want to register my disappointment that my motion, the question was put, and you had to jump from order number 7 to order number 8 and go back. I don't know what was the urgency this morning, and I can see there was already a purported plan to fail my motion. Though members are allowed to express themselves, Madam Speaker, I think this was a very important motion. The hurriedness to put the question, I don't know what prompted that. But Madam Speaker, number 2, even as we go to, and I would wish to support the motion at hand, the breastfeeding bill.
Stick to your point of order.
Yeah,
so
that's it. The breastfeeding bill,
yes.
I'm there, Madam Speaker, was second on the order. As a mover also of the bill, I was not consulted, and why it had to be stepped down and why we had to go to the motion. I think courtesy calls for the person who is moving the motion just to be informed that we need to jump and go to a different order. Because, Madam Speaker, there was a lot of preparation on this. This bill has waited for many years. This is almost the third time the bill is coming to this parliament. Actually, it is the third time. So it comes in, there's unnecessary delays, and somehow the time of parliament goes in, it elapses. Okay. So, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to raise those 2 issues, that I actually want to register my disappointment on how, 1, my motion was rushed. I don't know why. And from the last week, Madam Speaker, I'd gotten a lot of support from the members, actually of members who spoke for. So this urgent thing of putting the question, the nays and people shouting here, I have taken great reception, Madam Speaker.
Yes,
and I want just to say, as I finalize, Madam Speaker, I think if we are serious that we want to accelerate attainment of universal health coverage, we must be very serious as a House. For this policy of 2020-2030 of VHC to be achieved,
Honorable
this
Sabina
House
Chege,
must be very, very, very serious, Madam
Chege,
Speaker. And whether the private sector want to fight.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Honorable Sabina Chege, you see, you're debating your motion, which was on motion number 8. Let me just allow me to explain. I listened to you very silently. I just want to explain to you that your motion was debated extensively. And today, when it came on the order paper, all that was left to be done, if you look at the order paper, is question to be put. So there was no debate. And in fact, you were not present. You arrived late. Yes, but yes, I know it is order number 8, and kindly be respectful. You can see that there was no administration of oath. There was no communication from the chair. There were no messages. There were no petitions. There were no papers. There were no notices of motion. There was only questions and statements which were dealt with. So even though it's order number 8, if there is no other, or the other orders don't have any substantive matters to be raised, then we actually get very quickly to order number 8, and we had 8 questions before your motion. And at the time when the order was called, all the speaker can do is to put the question as set out in the order paper. And so there was no rush. There was no other activity on your motion other than for the question to be put. So for you to insinuate that there was some other agenda, I think is wrong, and I will expect you to apologize shortly. Hold on, I haven't finished with you. I expect you to apologize because it says question to be put. You were not present, you were absent. And when you were absent yourself, if you had been here, you could have mobilized members to vote in favor of your motion. So you can't have a motion and expect it to happen suo moto. You've got to be here to lobby. That is what members of parliament do when they want their motion to pass. And on the issue that I exercise my discretion, which is permitted by the standing orders, to move to order number 13 was because it was upon the request of Honorable Member for Kisumu East, Honorable Shabil Shakir. At the beginning of the House, he requested that he's in part of the preparatory committee for the preparations of the funeral arrangements for Honorable the late Phoebe Asio, and he requested that if he can have his motion come earlier, to allow him to leave to go and attend to those matters. And I considered that was a reasonable request, considering that he comes from the same county as the late Honorable Phoebe Asio, and I did allow him to have his motion come in first so that he can move to other business. Had you arrived early, you could have requested also that you want yours to come with urgency. But in any case, it's the next one after we finish with order number 13. And I now request your apology for insinuating bad faith or that there was a sinister agenda when you were in fact not present in the House yourself.
Madam Speaker, you know, I will refuse to apologize on this. Because, Madam Speaker, I think there are records. It's a House of Records. And in terms of questions, I was around, Madam Speaker, and I was following up. And I knew what was coming up. I was following the order paper. And the questions and statements that were being read, they were not done. I want to say, I think Honorable, the member, the Women Rep Isiolo, was on the floor. When you actually said, let's first go to order number 8, and then you went back to order number 7. So I don't know why I should apologize, Madam Speaker. And it's not that I was late. I was actually around. I was waiting. I have been in this House, Madam Speaker. This is my third term. So it's also not right just to say like I didn't know what follows and the lobbying and everything, Madam Speaker. And I also know what happens around this House, Madam Speaker. I said I take great exception. It is okay, the motion has gone, but I take great exception. I will have to look at the way that we can be able to help Kenyans have enough money and have enough financing in our public institutions.
Honorable Sabina Chege, and I think also you've been in the House long enough to know that usually when we start on Wednesday, the moment we have quorum, if there are any matters for questions to be put, they take priority before we lose quorum. So usually that is the standard practice. And I think anybody will be able to tell you that. And now you're not listening, but I think you know that. Honorable Sabina, you've heard that? That usually, if you look at normal practice, whenever there are questions to be put, the moment we have quorum, we put the questions immediately. In fact, we reorder the order paper so that we don't lose quorum and not be able to put the question. In fact, the reason why the question wasn't put previously on your motion is because we didn't have quorum. So when we had quorum at the nearest appropriate time, then we did in fact proceed. And for other delays on your other bills coming to the order paper, I think you can take that with the House Business Committee. They're the ones in charge of the order paper. Thank you. Let us proceed. Any members who want to contribute to order number 13? Honorable Nyikal. Oh yes, you are on the floor, Honorable Hilary, then I'll come to you, Honorable Nyikal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to join my colleague, Karoli Omondi, in sympathizing with the situation in Gaza. Madam Speaker, this morning, CNN was airing very painful images of children facing starvation in Gaza. And Madam Speaker, this has been a result of a catastrophic conflict between nations. Madam Speaker, it is estimated that 2.2 million people in Gaza have been displaced, and the death toll stands at 52,000 people, Madam Speaker. And the catastrophe, if unattended to,